go. Hello and welcome to the birthday bonanza. So for this one, it's up to 83% off for the month of May. So let me explain to you how you can get a slice of the birthday goodies. First up, and I don't always do the one-to-one stuff. Normally it's around the online on-demand courses, but this time I thought we would kick off and I would include some of the one-to-one stuff for this birthday. So this one, it says Tarot Tuesday because Tarot Tuesday is something I do every month where I do free Facebook Live tarot readings for people in my Facebook membership group. So this is one of the quotes testimonials from someone who's in the group, because often I'm doing the reading to myself. Nobody's there because I do them at different times. It's the first Tuesday of the month. So sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the afternoon, sometimes it's like really late at night. And so people come and they'll watch the replay recording. So this is feedback from someone who said, "Hi, Marilyn, I've just listened to the recording and OMG, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. What can I say? But you were 1,000,000% spot on with my reading. I'm blown away with it all." So you can find information about the readings at my regular website, transformationstm.com/tarot readings. But yeah, so what I've decided to do this time is it's up to 53% off. So the way that it works, for those of you who are on my e-newsletter list, for example, this is not AI, it's really me. So for those of you who are on my e-newsletter list, I emailed you all actually this morning, a couple of hours ago, with the link, and it's 58% off to celebrate my birthday. It'll be my 58th birthday in a couple of weeks' time. And also, for those of you who are lifetime members in my Facebook group, then you get an additional 25% off. So use the regular coupon code, put that in at the site. So the site is already set up, which is the ticker tape going along the bottom. So it's marylandevonish.thrivecart.com/special-offer-last call. So it's already set up with the prices with 58% off. Those of you in the Facebook membership group who are lifetime members, then use your coupon code and it will take another 25% off. So that's that. But yes, so and a few people have had the experience recently of having a little bit of a play with a different form of cards, which is the business strategy in a box readings. They were absolutely fantastic as well. I don't know if I've got let me see, I might have the feedback from the first person who went through it. Let me see if I have. Is that it? Or is that the soul plan? Hold on, it's a bit small. I have to just see it on the bigger screen before I can tell. Oh, no, that's the business same soul plan. I don't think I've turned it into a quote as yet. So let me just take that off. Right. So, but anyway, so some of you have experienced now these are not in the offer at the moment. Those are only available as part of the clarity code. However, with regards to the cards, I've got a ton of decks. Some of them you can just slightly see in the shop behind me. It's behind you on the shelf behind me. And what we can also do, if you would like, I've got a set of a coaching card deck, for example, so we can use this deck as well. And one of the things I would definitely say about the readings, I don't know if I can do it actually. Let me see if I can pull up my, if I can do a show screen, and I'll pull up my website. I'll just show you some of the real testimonials. And yes, also that's a good reminder, if you wanted to gift this to someone, you can do that as well. That's absolutely fine. So if you wanted to purchase one of the readings at 58 or 83% off and gift it to someone, and that's my email, marilyn@transformationstm.com, you can do that as well. But I'm going to see if I can. Doesn't always work, but let me have a look. See, no, that's not the one I want. Now, how would I do that? Give me one sec, because I'm going to see if I can show you. Oh, screen. I'm going to see if I can show you some of the testimonials in people's own words. Oh, yes, right. I think what should happen is, I believe you should be able to, let me check on Facebook. You should be able to see my screen now. So it's a little bit behind, time delay. So at the moment, I'm looking at a few seconds behind you all. I just want to see if the screen changes, because if it does, that means you should be able to see so there's a time delay of about 10 seconds from what I'm saying right now to what I can see on the screen. As I said, the streams will come on at slightly different times, but you should be able then to see my main website in a few moments. And let's have a look. See, it's not showing up as yet, but I don't want to be talking about something that you can't see. But if you can, and let's just assume that you can, but if you can't, I'm going to read you some of the testimonials. So, what people have said, da, 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 da. Oh, they're actually quite long because people were very detailed. These were from a few years ago. So this is the first one. Um, this person says, thank you, Marilyn, for an excellent angel card reading today. I began with one issue in mind, but decided to focus on another issue. I was amazed your reading was specifically answering my main intention, not the one I had thought was right. Oh yeah, that was it. They didn't tell me what they wanted the reading to be. Well, they did tell me. So I did the reading holding in mind what they wanted this to be about. But I always say to people, I don't really care. I'm not that interested in knowing what you want the reading to be about. And I don't mean that in a rude or horrible way. I just mean the reading will be what the reading will be. So I start doing this reading. It's got nothing to do with what he's just asked me about. But I thought, well, I've started, so I'll finish. So I do this whole reading, all the while thinking, well, this is nuts because he's told me what he wants the reading to be about, and I'm not talking about anything like that. Then so he didn't say anything, but at the end I said, any questions, any feedback? And so he's then saying, so he was saying, I was amazed your reading was specifically answering my main intention and not the one I thought was right. In fact, I got the feeling the latter issue was more of a non-issue in the big scheme of things. Frankly, I was surprised at how accurate your readings were as it pertained directly to my radio station. Untangled FM. You highlighted important points about leadership and staying focus on purpose, giving me brilliant clarity about my road ahead. Thank you very much for such an excellent reading. I'm most happy to wholeheartedly recommend you as an angel card reader as soon as you are ready. Well, I was ready. Oh, by the way, well, I'll explain in a minute. It says, oh, by the way, did I say how impressed I was with your ability to get over 60 minutes of information to me in less than 30 minutes? Fabulous value. I wish you the best of success with next phase of your life journey. Love and light, infinite blessings. Haroon Rabani, who at the time was, I don't know if Untangled FM is still going, but he was doing Untangled FM at that point. And I'm just looking at my screen. I don't think you can see the screen that I'm looking at because I'm looking at my screen and it's still showing what was on there previously. So, right. So, who we forgot next? We got thanks so much. That was gorgeous. I wasn't sure how clear I was in terms of asking the questions. And yet, what you came up with made so much sense on both business, love life, and another personal issue levels. Love it. By the way, even though today was the first time we've actually spoken, since I've got to know you a bit on Facebook with your gorgeous mix of energy, work, and corporate stuff, you've inspired me to bring more of myself into all that I do. Thanks again. And that's Eve Menzies Cunningham website, feelbettereveryday.co.uk. Who else we got? It's a pity you can't see this actually. I should have done the screenshot and you could have been looking at the screenshot. So it said, I heard Marilyn, because this is, and let me just tell you the background to these. When I first got into doing the readings, the course I was doing said we have to do 3 or 4 readings, give the feedback, da 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 da. So I put it out to my list and I got about 10, 20 people. And so it's like, whoa. And so then so I put some of them on my website. So another one says, I heard Marilyn had started angel readings, question mark. What? Question mark. That's the question I asked myself. What's an angel card reading? Since I had no idea what this reading comprised of, I cautiously volunteered anyway. Marilyn explained how long it would take and what would happen. Lo and behold, and somewhat surprised, it was a painless process. But what truly amazed me about this reading was the uncanny accuracy. The reading highlighted where I currently am in my life and what's about to come. And to say that I'm not excited is an understatement in the least. I also believe, N-O, and then no, in capital letters, K-N-O-W, that as a guide herself, Marilyn is well suited for the role and being an angel card reader. And I can see her empowering others' lives around her. I say, long may she continue to do so. And this is Kwame McPherson, award-winning author, poet, and authorpreneur mentor. And then he said a couple of days after the reading, a particular event that showed up in the cards unexpectedly popped up out of the blue, which is amazing. And let's go for one more. So having worked with Marilyn before, I know she is highly perceptive and intuitive, so trusted that the reading would be interesting to say the least. It isn't a case of the cards telling your fortune. It's about them reflecting your current situation back at you so you can see clearly what areas need to be worked on. Marilyn's interpretation of the cards is clear, concise, and understandable, and she is adept at picking up the subtleties of your individual circumstances. I was reminded, as I often am, that when the angels want you to know something, they create paths to it. Having the reading solidified my existing thoughts towards what I needed to be addressing and has given me the impetus I need to get back to it. Intuitive, charismatic, and non judgmental, Marilyn made the experience wholly creditable and intelligent, fabulous. And that is from Lisa Howes, who's a journalist and a filmmaker. So you'll see several more testimonials. We'll be here for quite a while, but you'll see several more testimonials. So I'm on my main website, transformationstm.com/tarot readings, and it's TRANCE, F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM.com. So let me stop showing because you couldn't see it anyway. So that's where I was reading from. And one of the things I would definitely say, I think Lisa, that reading sums it up really perfectly for me in terms of, I don't see it as, oh, you're going to see a tall, dark, handsome stranger or anything like that. Oftentimes it's giving people a bit of a nudge. It's reminding them about something that they already know. It's picking up about something that was already on their mind. And there was one, because sometimes we get themes. So when I first started doing these readings, this would have been about 9 years ago. And God, I can't believe I've been doing them that long every single month. But it's about 9 years ago. I did a reading every month, and I was doing a reading for someone, and it just felt really familiar to me, but I don't really remember what I've said after I've said it. And they came onto the thread later, and they said, "I've just listened to the reading, Marilyn. You said that to me 3 months ago, and again a month ago, and again." And she said, "It's something in my life I've been thinking about doing." There was also an instance where I'm doing a reading for someone who wasn't there. And I said, "I don't know why." I said, "I'm just getting this sense about getting some organic fruit and vegetables. And if there was something medical going on," I'm not giving medical advice. I said, "If there's something medical going on, getting a second opinion seems random." She then watches the replay and she said, "Marilyn, I wasn't there live because I had just been to the doctors to get a second opinion. And on the way home, I just suddenly felt compelled to go in and get some organic fruit and veg. I swear to you." This is all in the group. And then there was someone else who I'm doing the reading, and I said, "You know what? I just feel like you need to have a really good nap." And I said to her, "I don't know if you're the type of person who has a nap in the afternoon." I'm halfway through the reading and they popped on to the live and they put a comment and they said, "Oh, so sorry I'm late. I was having a nap." And I thought they were messing with me. So I said, "Did you see your reading?" She went, "No, I'll have to go back and watch it later." When I tell you, it is so ridiculously uncanny that I get goosebumps even when I think about it. You could not make this stuff up if you tried. I remember saying to some, again, I'm not giving people financial advice. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm not giving you any advice. I'm just going by the interpretation. But there was someone I talked about a new home. And then a few months later, she sent me an email saying, "Marion, I've got the keys to my new house." And it's something, because I used to do monthly tarot and Huna. I used to call them the big clearing calls. And I do them every single month and do a webinar where I do a reading for someone followed by a tarot do a tarot reading, then a Huna energy clearing. And so she had been on one of those calls. Honestly, I've given up sort of, because people say, "Oh my God, how did you know? And I've given up trying to explain it. I'm like, you know what? And it feels unexplainable. And the thing about it is, if I go to ignore something and I'm meant to say it, typically it then arrives as a song. So, and I'll hear a song with that, and I go, "Okay, let me say this." And I remember once I was doing a course with someone called Art Geyser, energetic NLP, and we do intuitive readings. Now, this was about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, no, it was way before lockdown. The lockdown warps the mind, doesn't it, in terms of time. It's a time warp. Let's do the time. Anyway, so it was about, I'm going to say about 9 years ago. So I'm very established. I've been doing what I've been doing since October 2000, and I started reading tarot in the 1990s as something to try and get out of my own head sort of thing. That was when I was in the run up to thinking about contemplated suicide. It was a way just for me to try and get a bit of clarity. And so I'm experienced at this point in terms of intuitive readings. I have a whole course and a 28-day program, the Intuition Supercharger. I've run the workshop on the Intuition Supercharger, so I know about intuition. So I'm sitting in this room, and what they do is they bring in a group of strangers and we do an intuitive reading for them. So these strangers that we can invite someone that we know, but we can't read for the person that we invited. So a stranger sits down in front of me, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And I'm like, oh, let this be good. I want it to be really profound. Blah, 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 blah. And she's sitting in front of me, and I'm looking at her. And then I said, oh, do you mind if I just close my eyes a minute? She went, no, 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 do whatever you need to do. So I'm closing my eyes. And the reason I closed my eyes is I looked at her, and I could see, like a Tweety bird, but it was blue. I could see like this blue little tweet, a group of them just flying around her head. I'm like, oh, for the love of God, give me something sensible. So I just sort of said, okay, let me just refocus my mind. Okay, let's get into state, boom, boom, boom. And I close my eyes and I see the Tweety birds again. I was like, Jesus. So this goes on for about 5 minutes. I've not said a word to this poor woman. In the end, I said, look, I said, I'm just going to have to tell you the first thing that I see just to get the ball rolling. So I described the birds to her, and her face she doesn't say anything for a minute. She's just staring at me. And I was like, she either thinks I'm completely bonkers or, she's going to run out of the room. She said, how did you know that? I said, what? She said, when I do my meditations, as I get myself in relaxed, one of the things I see, she said, they're like Disney little birds that fly around my head. Honestly, it was, and I nearly didn't say it because I'm like, I wanted it to be something deep and profound. And of course, after that, everything else just flowed because I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. But it was a really good reminder for me, and a really good nudge, and a little kick up the proverbial, as one of the clients said this week. I did the business name soul plan reading for, just to go with the flow. So when I'm doing the read, and sometimes some of you might have been there actually with the, oh God, I really get goosebumps with the Granny Gracie incident. Oh no. I was going to say you can go and watch it on YouTube, on Facebook, but Facebook now do the thing where they delete the videos. Oh, Jesus, had I thought about it, I would have gone and downloaded it. I got a new deck of cards. They were the Banksy cards. Banksy is the artist. And so I went onto my Facebook page. So I've got this I was doing a live stream like I'm doing now. I said, I've got this new deck of cards. Does anybody want a reading? And I say her name because she was live. And I said, are you aware that other people are going to hear this reading? And are you okay to share? She went, yeah. So her name is Frantonia Pollins. She lives in America. I've never met her, never spoken to her. So I start doing this reading for Frantonia, and I feel someone standing behind me, and I was like, this is weird. And then I start hearing in my head words that I would never say, and it's sort of, and I'm looking at the cards and I'm getting the interpretation, but I didn't want to say what I was getting because I'm like, I'm not saying that. And I was like, and again, if you watch the video, it was literally all played out in real time. And in the end, I said, Frantonia, I'm so sorry. I said, this isn't the way I'd normally speak to someone, but the intuitive voice, I'm going to say the person, let me just put it like that. The person who is relaying this message kept calling her baby. And so I then had to say, well, baby. And I'm like, I'm not saying that. But in the end, I had to give in. I was like, Frantonia. And I said it. And she went, oh, that's Granny Gracie. And I was like, who, what? She said, that's Granny Gracie. That's the way Granny. And then Granny Gracie, once she got the acknowledgement, she was off. And she was saying stuff and I'm relaying it, and it's not the way I normally talk. It's not the phraseology I would use. These are not the words I would use. This is not the linguistic construction that I would use. And Frantonia's like, that is spot on. That is exactly the way Granny Gracie would talk. And those are exactly, because Frantonia was going through something, and Granny Gracie is referring to this thing that Frantonia is going through. And she's saying, yeah, that if I was sitting with Granny Gracie, that's exactly what she would say. Honestly, it was just so insane because this is all happening in real time on the live. And I'm like, and then Granny Gracie starts off on me, giving me advice and a little bit. Honestly, it was so freaking cool. I can't begin to tell you, but it was the baby thing. So I'm like, this is a woman. I've never met her before. I'm not going to start addressing her as baby. But the voice, the person, turns out Granny Gracie was so insistent. I just started saying it as it came. And Frantona was like, yeah, yes, 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 yes. Honestly, it's insane. Now, when people say, oh my God, how'd you do it? If I try to think too deeply about it. It kind of just messes with the process. And when people say you're a medium, I say, no, I'm not a medium. I'm not into mediumship. I don't do that stuff. That's not what I do. I have got friends who do it, and they're amazing. Gina is one of them. Some of you know Gina Bat. So that's not what I do. But for people looking, that's sometimes how it appears to them. The thing I say is I'm highly intuitive, and I never got the chance to speak to Carl Jung, but he was the first person where I learned about the concept of synchronicity, and I was absolutely fascinated with it when I was studying A-level psychology. We were supposed to be studying the psychology of things, but I went off on a tangent, just started reading around and about the people that I was learning about. And very quickly, as I sort of delved beyond what we were learning about Carl Jung, who was a Swiss psychiatrist, I then very quickly came, well, not very quickly, but over a period of months, then started tapping into the other branch of his work, which wasn't necessarily so well known when he was alive, about synchronicity. And Carl Jung talks about the collective consciousness. And the way that I envisage in my mind the collective consciousness is like a stream of consciousness that is moving above our head. And every once in a while, we're going to pull something down from that. And because we're all in that quantum field, that quantum soup, we can almost coincide with things. One of my clients said, Marilyn, it's like you're tapped into the zeitgeist. And that's what it feels like. It feels like there's this thing. So when I'm reading for someone, we're in that collective consciousness field together, because they've given me permission. As we're then in that space and place together, it feels like you sort of pick up on things that are relevant for that particular person. And one of the reasons I know this is, and people often say, Marilyn, you don't need to use the cards, why don't you just do it straight out? But the cards are a nice sort of jumping off point. There have been times in the Facebook membership group where I'm doing, let's say, 15 readings on the Facebook Live. And and the same card might come up 7 or 8 times, because there's often a theme that emerges in the group. But the weird thing about it was, and it's really where it brought it home to me, is that I could pull a card for the first person, and then person number 3 gets the same card, and person number 5 gets the same card, and person number 8 gets the same card, and person number 10 gets the same card. Every single time the card looks slightly different, but it's the same card, it's the same deck. There's nothing. It's a bit like you watch a movie. I remember the first time I watched The Matrix, for example. I mean, like everybody else, my mind was blown. And then I purchased the DVD, the director's edition, blah, blah, blah. So I'm watching the film again, and I'm like, well, that wasn't in the film last time. But I'm like, well, Marilyn, you know what? I mean, the director's bits were like add-on. You could watch it at the end. I'm like, you're watching exactly the same movie, and you're seeing different things. And that is true for all of us, because the first time you see, well, I speak for myself, the first time I saw The Matrix, because I'd already seen some of the promos, I'm blown away by the slow motion and Neo leaning back and, all that sort of stuff. And then once you've seen that, your brain has already processed that. So next time you watch it, you might see something else that was there all the time, but it's on the periphery. And then you watch it a second or third or even fourth time, and then all of that, your brain is like, yeah, got it, I can see it. But it then has the capacity to see something else that's even further out in the periphery. So there'll be films that I've watched several times, like The Terminator. It's funny, actually, I don't know if some of you know the story. There is apparently another story to The Terminator and to The Matrix about who actually wrote the Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and who actually wrote the first Matrix movie. And I'm not going to say any more about that, because this brings us into the realm of some contention. But all I'm going to say to you is really think about it. The first Matrix movie and Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, in my opinion, spectacular. I remember watching the other iterations that came out of the Matrix and the Terminator. I'm like, what's this? It was just completely different movie. And I was thinking, okay, maybe it's the copyright thing, because if you get a new director that takes over a franchise, Fast and Furious seem to be the franchise that sort of managed to buck this the most. But typically speaking, in Hollywood, if you bring in a completely different director, they don't necessarily have ownership and the rights to use the same symbology and themes and ideas from the previous movies. Because I actually went and did some research. I'm like, why are these movies so different? And then that's what I came across, the legalities of it all, because you don't always hold the rights. So at first I was thinking, it must be that, because there's no other logical explanation. And then we went into lockdown. I believe her name was Sophia Stewart, but she's called the mother of the Matrix. And she was doing these Facebook Live rooms. Oh my God. absolutely mind-blowing. And she said that I said I wasn't getting into it. Now we're getting into it, but hey, we're getting into it. But she said she wrote The Matrix and she wrote the Terminator movies. How can that be? Because it's the Wachowski brothers, for example, and then it's James Cameron, etc. So what Ms. Stewart said is that she wrote them and she sent them into the film companies for consideration. And of course, wasn't successful. She's a black woman. I'm not saying that's key. I'm just saying she's a black woman, just so we put that into context as well. She then said she saw her ideas on screen and was like, "Whoa!" Now, what happened? Apparently, if you listen to the, let's say, the Wachowski brothers or sisters side of it, it will be like, rubbish, whatever. You listen to another side of it, there was a settlement, but this, because it was an out of court settlement, it's not been in the public domain. The way the story has been told by the person who said they wrote it and somebody else who was in that script meeting said they corroborated that her scripts were used. So they had her scripts laid out all over the table, and they got the red pen and making changes, doing this, updating this, deciding how they're going to play this scene out, etc., etc. So apparently they used her scripts, but they just didn't give her any credit. That's the story. But anyway, Sophia Stewart, she said, and I think it's Sophia Stewart. Somebody can correct me on the thing if it's not. If I got one of those names wrong, it's been several years now since the Clubhouse days. It was in 2000 and 2001, and everybody called her the mother of the Matrix. So that's how I remember in her head. But going beneath it, I'm like, what was her real name? Because everybody called her the mother of the Matrix. What she said is that she came up with those scripts and it was a deeply intuitive process. And also it was that they were both of those films were messages to humanity. So it then makes sense that someone who's not in that same intuitive space and is not in the same part of the zeitgeist that she is, it makes sense that they wouldn't be able to capture the same magic. Anyway, that was a completely random tangent. Maybe somebody out there needed to do that, I don't know. But that was a completely random tangent. But just talking about the whole thing about the collective consciousness, the zeitgeist, all the rest of it, and how we can interpret things, and some people will interpret them in a way that really speaks to someone. Because when those two films landed in their respective decades, they really they just hit something on the head, and people just really gravitated to them. So yeah, and that's why I say I don't necessarily want to sit and have to explain it, but if I had to put it into words and say how does it work, I would come back to Jung and the collective consciousness and the zeitgeist and say there is something that goes on there where you just it's almost like the two stories collide, the information collides, you open up and then you can kind of see and feel. And when I say see, no, actually there are times I do see something, and for me it's a full sensory thing as well. So for example, there might be times I might feel, I don't know, pain in my back, and I would go, who does that belong to? Is it mine or is this for the person I'm reading for? Thankfully it's not usually mine. And then I will say to the person, duh, 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 and they'll go, oh my god, how did you know? And then once we've had that conversation and resolved that, it disappears, and I'm like, great, we can move on from that. And there are times I hear things. A lot of the times I hear music, and within the music, whether it's the title of the song or the lyric, that'll be the message that is to be delivered. So yeah, it's a really interesting process, and I'm there, but I'm not necessarily paying too much attention to it, because this is the honest to God's truth. Touch wood, you can ask anyone who's in the membership group if they happen to wander onto this video, onto this thread. People will come onto the thread over in the next couple of days. I do the reading on the first Tuesday, or if it's been a busy week, the Wednesday or Thursday, but normally the first Tuesday. People will come onto the thread, they'll watch the video and go, oh my god, Marilyn, that was spot on, oh my god, that was amazing, oh my god, that's just what I've been going through. And I'm reading their comments, I'm like, I've got no idea what they're talking about. So what I start to do, I don't write down what I say, but I write down the name of the person and the card that I pulled from them, and then I might write down one or two words. Let me just see, because let's see, Tarot Tuesday for last month. Um, oh God. Oh, here we go. Right. So I'm not going to say the name of the person, but for example, one of them was Two of Raphael, What Lights You Up. One of them was a Knight of Ariel, Queen of Reinvention. One of them was a six of Ariel, overflowing abundance. One of them was what we got, the perspective card, let's pretend. And one of them was the change your life. So I don't write down what I say, and sometimes because I'm then so bloody curious about it, I would then go back and say, that is so cool. Can you just remind me, what did I say? And on one occasion, what I did is, because it gets happening year after year after year after year, month in, month in, month in, month out. What I did, I sat down and I went back. This is before YouTube started deleting them all, and I watched one of the readings, and I watched it with the same a black and red notebook and a pen, and I was transcribing. Nowadays, of course, I could probably just let AI listen to it and just do the transcript. This was back in the day. So I'm listening to what I'm writing down what I'm saying, and then I put that next to the feedback. Actually, I'm not even going to try and do the screen share again, but I'll find the link to the blog and I'll put it in there. And so I went to, and then I went back, and then I went to people and I said, look, I'm going to write a blog about this. Are you okay for me to share your feedback? And do you want to be anonymous? Am I okay to name you? Everybody said, yes, you can share. Some people said, oh, I'd rather be anonymous. Don't put my name. And other people said, oh, yeah, you can put my name. And what I did is I went through the transcript and I wrote word for word what I said. And then underneath that, I wrote word for word their feedback once they listened to the replay recording. It was crazy. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let me just see. This was a lot of years ago. Just having I'm just doing a quick search on tarot on my Facebook just to see if it will come up quick, but if it won't. But actually, I might have the link in my no, 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 no. I'm just going to have a quick look because honestly, I'll just read you a little bit of it because it was so crazy. Even I was mind blown. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm the one who did the reading. What would I have called it? Oh, I know. I think I called it, did I call it Spot on Tarot? Was that it? Tarot, spot on. Let me just see if I called it something sensible that would mean I'd be able to find it. Oh, let me see. That might be it, actually. What was, so I've got a song in my head. Barry Thomas was just playing a song that I've had on repeat this week. Let me just see. I think this is the droid we are looking for. Yeah, I've got some dodgy plugins on my blog as well. Yeah, this is the one. So what I'm going to do is I'll put the link in the comments just so you can go and read this for yourself. Give it about 10 seconds to load, just to give you a comparison. I don't know why the screen share doesn't work. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to try the screen share one more time just to see if I can get it to work, because it would be great if you could see it with me. Well, I think it would be great. You might be like, yeah, whatever. So let me do that. And I'm going to see if it works. Let's do second time lucky. Don't know. No, I don't think it's doing it. Oh, it might be actually. Let me just give it one sec while I have a drink of water. As I said, I'll put the link in. You can come and read this for yourself. So I'll just do you a couple. So the reading, no, I can see my screen. For some reason, it's not doing the screen share. Anyway, so reading number one, I said, the card pulled was good night's sleep. And I said, it's about being protected. Rest, do nothing, heal and manifest, take a nap. And I explained about my power naps in the middle of the day. This particular client is always super busy, so I didn't really think of her as the napping type. My client said, my client said, they arrived on the Facebook call 26 minutes into it. She was late because, I quote, she just had a nap. She'd woken up from having a nap in the middle of the day, so hadn't yet heard my suggestion about taking a break from it all and having a rest and recharge nap. Reading number two, I said, I feel like you're a skivvy, people's beck and call girl. This can lead to anger or falling into martyrdom. Ask people for help and assistance. Ask to send you people who can help lighten the load, letting people help you and being open to receive. And I said, there's also a thing where they're in mother mode. My client said, or the person I read for said, spot on. I just met with a new outsourcer to assist me. It's like that. It's like that doing people's books because they're an accountant. And they said mothering them. I mean, you really couldn't make this up in terms of the reading. Reading number 3, I said, God, that's a bit direct. I said, sit down and keep quiet, be still. It's currently like the energy of, are we nearly there yet? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. You know, kids in the back of the car, are we nearly there yet? Are we nearly there yet? As much as you want to see things move and go at a pace, there will be less pushing energy. I've known you since 2003, and I've got no idea if you meditate. If it's not your thing, start with 5 minutes, sit still. God, I was a bit direct. Sit still. Sorry, sit still for more than 5 bloody minutes. If it's not your thing, play and ding in terms of, get a little timer that dings after it. The word decompress comes to mind, not talking, thinking, or trying to make anything happen. The person I read for, after they watched the video, came in and said, ooh, interesting exclamation mark. Of course, I'm rubbish at meditation with my million miles an hour mind, but I'm just trying a new app and it's been pretty good. I stepped away from it as I was away, but this is a good reminder that I need to go back. Thank you. Reading number 4, and you can see they're all completely different. The feather boa was an in joke, and because something had happened at one of my workshops, and there was this synchronicity with the feather boa. So I said, feather boa, in joke. I said, run away to the circus, a radical act. What would it be for you? What would be so much fun? Something, some activity you would never do, a different worldview. Oh no, that's silly. I couldn't do that. Get out of your everyday situation or a new or different environment, maybe going away with or something like that. Get out of your comfort zone and your silo. Take time to pause and reflect, like we talked about with Think Tank Thursday. Think Tank Thursday is something, well, as the name suggests, I do it on a Thursday. People can ask questions, I'll answer. And to notice what you notice, to pause and reflect and get those aha moments. They said once they'd heard the reading, Marilyn, you've done it again. Next month, I'm taking part in something I've always wanted to do, but for whatever reason, never have. And yes, it is abroad. And yes, I'm going alone. And yes, it will give me plenty of time for reflection. And yes, it will help me put things into perspective. And big yes in capital letters, it will definitely take me out of my comfort zone. I had started to wonder if it was a good idea, but the reading seems to have confirmed that it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Marilyn. Happy to give you a testimonial and for you to use my words, which was lovely. And she did go away and she had the most amazing time. Reading number 5, I said, I feel a prayer coming on. So let's have the Archangel Michael deck. Last but one card. Oh, okay. I just literally was writing the transcript. Oh, okay. Specific. I have no idea if you are thinking about love and romance, a relationship. Archangel Michael seems to think so. ... It's about preparing for your soulmate, love, and making a heart dash full changes and learning to love self. They said, the person I read for, thank you so much. Interesting about the romance. I have been, I should say, I have been, that should have said I've been, but I've been transmuting old energy frequencies, contracts and agreements attached with the concept of soulmate and romance, relationships, calling in the divine romance partnership. Spot on, gorgeous as always. These readings were all on the same call. They're all completely different because each person I'm reading for is completely different. So what you'll see when you go to the blog, which is marilyndevonish.com, MarilynDevonish, marilyndevonish.com. It had some dodgy plugins, so I just had to revert to a very old template. So it's a bit higgledy-piggledy, but it's marilyndevonish.com / the spot on power of angel tarot reading is amazing. And there's a dash between each of those words. So you'll see the cards that I pulled, and then you'll see what I said. It was the same reading. I just sat and did it for one video. I didn't do it for all of them, but I just chose one where people are, because people come into the thread and they comment about the reading, and that was it. So as you can see, really uncanny. And as I said, I'm doing the readings and they're not there. So they're not, and we're in the group. I say, who would like a reading? And I say, just put a yes in the thread. So they just write the word YES, yes. That's it. No more, no less, just the word yes. So I have no idea what people want the readings to be about. I've got I really I don't want to know, and it's the same when I read for people one to one because I do the readings online. So I'm just having a little bit of fun. This is one I created earlier. Did I save it? Oh no, I have it. It's on the different machine, isn't it? Hold on. Yeah. Oh no, I created some yes signs yesterday, but it was on my other machine. Um, but yeah, so I've got no idea what people want the reading to be about. And when I'm doing one-to-one readings, there are people I've read for, I don't even know what they look like because I do telephone readings or we do online. And there are times I do readings on Zoom, but people don't turn their cameras on. It's absolutely fine. And what I do is with the readings, whether it's the 30 minutes, the 60 minutes, or the hour and a half, you get a audio recording of the reading so you can just sit and take it all in, and then you can at your leisure go back and listen to it. And that was really fantastic because a couple of years ago I did 12-month readings. So I did 12 cards, January, February, March, April, May, etc. And I did them all in one go. So I would sit with the person either on Zoom or telephone, etc., or sometimes Facebook Messenger video, and then I gave them a written transcript. And I just happened to be with someone who did that, and it was a summer, so 6, 7 months into the year. We were at the Taste of the Caribbean in Castlereagh Park, and they said, "Oh my god!" I went back and I looked at the transcript. The thing, because I did these in the January. She said the thing that you said was going to happen in May, it happened exactly like you said. And the reason it really got my attention is because someone else had emailed me and says, "Marilyn, the thing you said that was going to," and this is a different person, Marilyn, "the thing you said that was going to happen in May, it happened just like you said." And I was offered this back work and promotion. And she said, "I was offered this promotion. It was literally word for word." And that was the same with one of the testimonials I read you from my website. Uh, I did a 12 months reading for them as well a few years later. And I said something, it was something that I said was going to happen in the March. And then it was something in the June. And then later on, every single thing, and it was so left field, it was so curveball. One of the things that happened was not even on their radar, wasn't something they were going towards. It literally happened word for word. It's just so freaking uncanny. It's goosebump. It's seriously, you just couldn't make it up. And I think the reason why people just say wow, often their reaction is wow, spot on. Sometimes people said, "I'm so glad I was sitting down, I didn't expect that." Honestly, they are just so freaking cool. So if you would like a reading, a tarot reading that is, and what I've done with the I put on the site, you'll see it now, but I've put the usual price, and then underneath that is the birthday bonanza price. And I'm going to use the same link throughout the month, but the offers will change. So this one would be up for a few days, and then I'm going to delete that offer and I'll put something else up. But for now, if you go to the page that's coming along the ticker tape, marilyndevonish.thrivecart.com/special offer last call, what you'll see at the moment today is what we now, the 3rd of May, 2026. So if you'll go there now in the next couple of days, you'll see the offer for the tarot readings, and I've worked out the pricing for each of them. And the price that's on that page is the reduced price. So for example, I think it starts at £29. Let me just make sure, let me give you the right data. So yes, for the 30-minute tarot reading, usual price 70 is £29.40. For the 60-minute reading, usually 120, it's £50.40. And for the 90-minute advanced reading with the energy clearing and the Huna, that's usually 150 and it's £63. And so 29, that's going to be what, I don't know, about $40, something like that. The 60-minute reading, that's going to be about, I don't know, $70. And the 90-minute reading, that's going to be, I don't know, $75, $80, something like that. But Thrivecart will work that out for you. But yeah, so it starts at £29.40. And that will be on for the next couple of days. And then when you scroll down, it says, click the button, and then you'll get the options. You can choose the 30-minute, the 60-minute, or the 90-minute. Click on the option that you want, and then just click continue. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Actually, it's May. It's the month of May. Let's pull a card for May. Let's see. Let us see. Actually, So that's one of my decks, the Money Oracle deck. It's a bit of a whopper. It's about 78 cards. There's also a coaching card deck. So let's pull one. And they all look exactly the same. And then of course they're all very different on the flip side. So let's pull one of those first of all. We're gonna have that one there. Okay, money joy. So think about the joy money has brought into your life. Not everyone might be feeling the joy at the moment. What has money enabled you to do? Question mark. Savor each item whilst reminding yourself there is plenty more money and joy to come. So this one is taking yourself back and thinking back over the years, the things you've been able to do, the wonderful things that money has afforded you. Because if you've lost the joy of money and it's more stress and anxiety, attaching yourself back into the joy that it can also bring just changes the vibe a bit, and it starts to change the way you think about it. So that's that one. And then let's see. So, month of May, the magical month of May. Let's grab. And I definitely, the 1st of May, the weather was absolutely gorgeous, 23 degrees, 24 degrees. So I went and had lunch in Castleberry Park. It was fantabulous, absolutely fantabulous. So there was definitely a sense of happiness and joy about that. All right, so let's do this. And again, these look all the same on the back and they're completely different on the front. So I'm going to go for that one there. What we got? 8 of Ariel. Let me show you that a bit more closely. So I've got 8 of Ariel. It says, take great pride in your excellent work, exclamation mark. Practice makes perfect. Consider getting additional education or training. So it could be that you're thinking about how to retrain, how to reskill, how to refocus. Now, the one about this particular card, this one to me isn't necessarily saying, quick, go and sign up for a course and do this and do that. If you look at the main protagonist, they've got books all around them. Some of the books are open, some of the books are closed. So this one often feels as though you actually have some of this information at your fingertips. So let's just say you've already invested in a course, in a workshop, an online training. You purchased an app, you're paying a subscription, whatever it is, you haven't actually used it yet. So the information is just sitting there waiting for you to go in and mine it. Let's just say, for example, like myself, you've got courses, programs, books. You might not have looked at them all, you might not have listened to them all, you might not have watched them all. I pretty much guess you haven't if you've got as many as I have. So what this is saying also is before you rush out and think, I've got to go and get the next new shiny thing, just sit for a moment and say, okay, you might do a gap analysis. Where am I now? Where do I want to be? What's the gap between those 2 points? What information, what data, what skills are required to bridge that gap? And then say to yourself, have I already invested in something that does the job? Do I have a book on it? Do I have a course on it? Do I have a program on it? Do I have a white paper or an essay or a blog or something that actually gives you that information? Because this one oftentimes is, you've done great work. Now it's about honing it. Now it's about refining it. Now it's about going back and seeing what those additional nuances is. So it's not necessarily you need a whole new qualification, but what are the nuances? How can you add to your existing skills and knowledge? And doing that then really kind of takes things to the next level. So that's what this one feels like. And also I would say that this one might be particularly relevant if you kind of feel like the world is passing you by, things are speeding up. Now we are in the, we're not even, I don't even think we're in the wave of AI yet. It's just like lapping on the shore at the moment, but it's already changed the game. It's already changing the landscape. I've been seeing lots of reports. I was reading a couple of studies a few days ago about an organization that's gone from having a workforce of 6,000 people. It's now down to 2,000 because it brought AI in to train it up on what we used to call the grunt work, the stuff that's quite repetitive, so they no longer have humans to do that part. They've kept the 2,000 people for the human touch, but 4,000 people have gone just like that. Who's that comedian? Just like that. Was it Tommy Cooper? But they've gone. So it's already changing the landscape, we know that. And, you know, with the world of consulting, for example, many people are now chatting to Grok and Chat GPT and Gemini and Claude. And if you just heard somebody talking and say, oh yeah, I had a chat with Claude, you would actually think, oh, Claude or Claudia. Oh, no, 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 no. They're talking about their GPT. There are also people now who have the AI assistants. They're talking about got 20 assistants. Those assistants back in the day, they would be, let's say, your virtual VA, your virtual PA. Oh, no, no. Now people are building bot assistants. So the landscape is already changing. So it could be that you might not be in the thick of that, but you might just be getting the tailwind of it. You might be just be getting that, you know, um, when a tsunami is about to come, there was so many stories of many animals going up into the land, up into the hills, because they could almost smell and feel the tsunami coming. There were some sensitive humans who also did the same, but most people not sensitive to that at all. And the tsunami just unfortunately hit them like a hurricane. And so it's a bit like that. You might be getting that sense that there's a shift coming. It hasn't quite arrived in your world yet or in your industry yet, but you get a sense. You know, there's a one of the aspects of the soul plan. It's the element, the body part is the nose, the sense of smell, and it's like they can smell change on the horizon. So it feels like you might be getting this. How can I say this? This calling, this sense, this nudge that don't just sit on your laurels. You want to elevate things a bit. So if you think of it like going to higher ground, so that if something does hit, you're already here, you're not scrambling to catch up. So that's kind of what it feels like with regards to this particular card. But I'm going to go back and remind you about that first line. Take great pride in your excellent work, exclamation mark. It's reminding you that you have done excellent work, that you do have excellent skills, that you have achieved, and now it's just the what's that nuance to just put you almost like head and shoulders above the rest. Alrighty, so here is to a magical, marvelously wonderful manifestation filled month of May and beyond. May is my birthday month, so of course I think it's extra magical. And did you know I sent the email that I sent out to my e-newsletter list today? I had looked up a couple of facts about the month of May. There's a university study about this. The link is in the e-newsletter, and then it gives you a load of other stuff about May. But I didn't know this until I do like to learn something new every day. I was saying that only yesterday. And the new thing I learned today is that people who were born in May, we are apparently luckier than many of the other zodiac signs. So for those of you, my fellow, I'm a bit selfish. I only know my own star sign. I think it's Gemini that comes after. But I'm a Taurian. But for those of you who are in the thick of the Taurian energy, or you're on the cusp of it, I think going into Gemini, then, you know, if you didn't know you were extra lucky, consider yourself told. So here is to lots of luck, lots of love, money, great health, wealth, fun, joy, friendship, and all good things, as one of my management consultant colleagues used to say. So yeah, wishing you all good things for this magical month of May and beyond. And remember, if you would like to book one of the prime, and the way the tarot readings are delivered, they're one-to-ones, they're online. I say nowadays most people don't do telephone, but you know, they're online or by phone or by messenger, and you'll receive an audio recording of the reading as well. If you're doing the 90-minute reading, so the hour and a half, I'll also give you a written transcript as well, which is what I did for the people who did 12-month reading. And the reason I gave people a written transcript for the 12 months reading is they didn't have to keep going back and listening to a great big long audio. They can just home in on the month that they want to check up on. But yeah, so you get an audio recording and an audio plus a written transcript if you're doing the hour and a half reading and the Huna and Access Consciousness energy clearing and belief change session. Alrighty, thank you for watching. If you know someone who could be a good fit, or you would like to gift this to them, then please feel free to share the link, share the details, send them this video. That would be absolutely fantabulous. Oh my God. I'm actually streaming to LinkedIn. Dear Lord, help me. I say, dear Lord, help me, because apparently a one-line post that I wrote a couple of years ago got me booted off LinkedIn, and they shut down my account. And so I've said nothing about tarot on that on that page since, and this whole thing has streamed to LinkedIn. Oh, although there are loads of other people on LinkedIn talking about tarot. When my account got shut down, people were then sending me screenshots saying, "Well, Marilyn, this person talking about tarot, and this person's doing tarot readings, and this person's got a tarot course, and this person's this." I had literally a tiny little one-liner about tarot, and it got my whole LinkedIn account shut down. So please, God, Archangel Michael, protect my LinkedIn account from the overzealous whoever it was that shut it down last time. Let us pray. Right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. And I look forward to working with those of you who would like a private online one-to-one tarot reading to see what the energy has in store for you. I will catch you all later. Marilyn Devnish, the Neuro Success Coach, Rapid Transformation Specialist, and Futurist from transformationstm.com/tarot readings. Over and out. And you can use that URL /tarot readings to read the testimonials and get the names of the people for yourself. And they are all real people. Catch you later.